So here are some shoes that I enjoy wearing when I go out walking. And after all, backpacking is pretty much like glorified walking. You throw in sleeping out there overnight or for an extended period, and that's what backpacking is. It's been a struggle to find some shoes that I really like. It's often a very controversial subject with some more traditional backpackers swearing by big, heavy, duty leather, often leather, hiking boots, which I'm sure if you've spent any amount of time in the outdoors, you've seen these kind of, boots. I used to wear combat boots because my background is I'm an army brat, and I grew up literally wearing combat boots. So that is what I preferred up until about, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, when I switched over to minimalist shoes for hiking. And I wrote a lot about this on my blog. If you want, as usual, check out the description and you can read up more on my thoughts on the subject. But recently I got a new pair of minimalist boots, actually, and I've been very impressed. So I'm going to give a review on these. I've worn these for a few months now. These are the Lems Boulder boots, and I will compare them to what I've been wearing in the past as far as minimalist or flat or zero drop type shoes goes. Over here we have Chuck Taylors, and over here we have some Morels. These are the Bare Essence shoes, and I'll get into why I wore them, the pros and cons briefly. But first, of course, the Lems. Now, they weigh. It's actually going to be easy to remember weights because coincidentally they have a similar weight pattern. These weigh together 540 grams, these weigh 840 grams, and these weigh 340 grams, just coincidentally. But yeah, so these are pretty light. In fact, crazy light if you are used to wearing those big, heavy duty boots. I have very little critiques of these. They're very, very comfortable. There's a big toe box. They fit me well. I've had them for a few months, and I've worn them in different conditions, in snow and rain, in warm weather. And I would say the one thing, and this isn't really a critique of it, especially when it's colder out, is that they are much warmer than I expected. Even though they weigh, very little, they're very lightweight, they provide a lot of warmth. And they also dry out quickly. I would say they dry out as quick as Converse do, and certainly much, much, much quicker than, say, a big heavy boot, which is nice. The thing is that what do I wear in the summertime when it's really hot? And I've decided that I like these boots so much that I'm just gonna put up with having sweaty feet and wear them in the summer as well. And because I live and hike in Scandinavia in the evenings and at night and in the wee hours of the morning, it can get a little bit chilly anyhow, and so I'll have a little bit of extra warmth then. And then of course when I take breaks, I can always take off the boots, let my feet air out. But yeah, so I'm surprised by the amount of warmth. Very comfortable. High top, which was something that was a deal breaker for me, which is why actually I no longer wear the Morels for long distance hiking. I got sick of having debris get into my shoe when you hike, stones and pine needles and such. And so I bought a pair of gaiters, but the problem is with minimalist shoes is that attaching a pair of gaiters to the bottom of a minimalist shoe is damn near impossible. So I decided to switch to high top shoes, because then it doesn't matter if you have the gaiters attached to the bottom. The high tops, provide enough protection and room. Like if the gaiters are kind of like floating, in this region, it doesn't matter. And I find that, they just typically stay around here when I have the gaiters on, and they work great. So gaiters work fantastic with the Lems. And I've said in another, video before that gaiters are kind of a game changer for me when it comes to hiking, because not only do I not get debris inside my shoes, which is a real pain in the butt, but also I've had far less ticks, and it helps, also because my gaiters happen to be water resistant, to keep, you know, your shoes a bit drier, especially when there's like a quick shower or something. It's a nice little added bonus. Okay, so that is my like first impression review on the Lems Boulder boots. Very positive. I really like them. I only wish they made something like this in like this mesh material. If Merrell were to just make a high top version of this, that would be great for summer use. I really use these, and I mean, in fairness to the Chucks, like they did their job, right? I like them. They're very comfortable. They're very cheap. And these shoes in particular, as I mentioned in another video, I have the most I've ever hiked in one day I did in these Chucks, which is around 40 kilometers. And, you know, no blisters, and it was fine. But they're heavier, and they're not as comfortable as the Lems, and the high tops don't go as, you know, as far up as the Lems. Alright, so you might think I'm crazy. I get a lot of funny looks on the trail, but my performance, this is not something I'm doing just, you know, for, I don't know, aesthetics or whatever. This is really pragmatic. The zero drop and minimalist or barefoot type footwear has greatly reduced aches and pains, especially in my hips and knees. This is anecdotal, so sure, take it with a grain of salt, but more comfortable, less issues, lighter weight so that I'm not working as much. You know, when you are walking and swinging, like say a couple of kilos of weight, you know, that's going to wear you out more. These are, because they're so light, it's not as much work. All right, I hope that's helpful. Please keep in mind that everybody's different, right? This is, you know, hike your own hike and all that. These have worked great for me. There is a kind of I wouldn't say learning curve, but I guess an adjustment process to minimalist shoes. I have been wearing minimalist type shoes for a very long time. Ever since I was a child, I was wearing Chucks and Vans and other, you know, flat type shoes. So my transition was perhaps a little easier. But yeah, I'm going to stick to these. Please, Lems or somebody, make some summer, you know, high top walking shoes. But otherwise, very happy. All right, hope this helps. Take care out there, and goodbye.